I am an ex-Queen's Guard, served 4 years. Ask me anything. As requested, I've previously served in the Grenadier Guards for 4 years. I've been on countless ceremonial duties including street lining for the royal wedding, 3 trooping of the colour and even a ceremonial duty in Kuwait. Due to legal reasons, there could be questions I'm not allowed to answer. So this is an Ask Me Almost Anything. How boring does this job get and how do you cope with that? A job is a job. It's exciting at first, then you just get on with it like any other. How casual can it be compared to the perception of stoicism your job carries? Being Grenadier Guards, we are the most prestigious, well-drilled and most disciplined out of the 5 regiments. We had a lot of pressure to ensure we kept to what was expected of us. What are your other duties outside of just standing there? We do have other duties but sadly can't answer this question. What moments did you hate your job? Losing my weekend plans due to ceremonial duty wasn't fun. Any entertaining anecdotes/interactions with citizens or tourists? Being a Queen's Guard also means that I'm a trained soldier. I was fresh back from tour and had a duty at St. James Palace. An American tourist said to me, "It's all well and good you guys standing there, but there are real soldiers out there that are doing real soldiering." I was wearing my Afghanistan medal while I just stared at him with hatred. In your response above, you talk about drill and discipline. Can you describe, other than the stoic response to asshole tourists, what else is part of the drill and discipline kit? As you can see in the picture, it's made of brass. We have to make sure it is brassoed every day, same with the brass fittings of the buff belt. The boots have to so reflective that you can visibly see your teeth in them. Then in everyday work when not on guard we make sure everything is clean, tidy. That kind of thing. If it's not, you get extra work. Specifically on weekends or a Friday night. I have never been to England, and I could probably figure it out by Googling, but I think it would be much cooler to ask you instead. I've heard that Queen's Guards aren't allowed to smile or interact with passers-by at all, but that they're supposed to remain entirely still like a statue. First, is this at all true? Obviously you have to take your job seriously, but are you not allowed to show emotion? If that's true, were there any times where you almost lost it? What were the circumstances? Thanks so much for doing this. Probably one of the coolest AMAs I've seen. When I was younger and new to the job, there could have been a few times when I nearly broke, but, if you've ever heard your dad say the same joke, over and over and over again, you'd have a grumpy look on your face as well. Edit, a bot got the better of me. Hey, thanks for doing this and thank you for your service. Not sure if you guys get admiration for your service, but I know the soldiers here in the States get the short side of the stick often, so first and foremost thank you for your service. I know the general response is you cannot move or be touched. But has there ever been a time where you had to move from your post to handle an emergency or deal with the public? Or ever a situation where you had to break, for lack of better word, character and interact with a civilian? Thank you, and mostly it was for idiot tourists that think was funny to climb over a fence. My sister, American, spent a summer in London in the early 2000s. She and a few of her girlfriends were taking photos with a guard and he invited them all back to wherever it is on palace grounds that they live for dinner. She has amazing photos of the silver dinner service, her and her friends wearing the uniform, etc. How often does something like that happen? Or was that guy insane to do it? Sounds like insanity to me. So with the YouTube videos you see many falling over, and other embarrassing situations. I've watched the doco about how strict the unit commanders and such are. Do these guys get in a lot of shit for these sorts of mistakes, or is it understood that mistakes happen even in the elite units? Also, what's with the marching really quickly in and out of rooms that I saw you all do in the doco? Seems like an easy way to pull a muscle and looks silly. Depends on the seriousness of the situation. Buckingham Palace is a really old building. We wore metal-studded boots on a concrete path that has been slowly worn down over the years. It's more of a skill not to fall over, to be honest. If you do, you'll get shamed and laughed at. If you purposely did a bad job, as in march in a very silly way and fuck around, you could go to military prison. That's on extreme very rare occasions. It's tradition and shows respect and discipline. What documentary is this? Are you obligated to salute or do anything if a higher ranked officer / enlisted person of any armed forces walks past or tries to talk to you? Like if a US Army major wants to shake your hand or ask you for something. Can you break your stoicism to help his request? When we salute, we are in fact saluting the crown that is on the top of every British regiment's cap badge, the blue-red-blue backing in the Guards beret. If a US major that wasn't a part of my command chain, then I would ignore his request. Even to shake his hand. If you saw any illegal activities taking place in the crowds, would you be allowed to intervene / detain? For example, if you saw a man start punching a woman in her face in the crowd, would you still have to remain at your post, or were there exceptions? As a human being, of course I would intervene, but I was there to guard the palaces and the Queen. There would be enough police to make sure an incident like that wouldn't go without him being arrested. What was your favorite moment in the job and why did you quit? Proudest moment, when in ceremonial, could be after my first Trooping the Color, but during my military career coming back from Afghanistan. I left after thinking I didn't see myself doing it in the next 5 years, so I left while I was still young enough to get a new career. If anybody is thinking about joining, I'd recommend it. Sorry if I'm being ignorant. You have to stay completely still, right? So how don't you have cramps / pain in your legs? Is it practice? Cause if it is, how does it feels when you're starting? Also, supposing that there's a crime happening close to you, someone is stealing a cell phone, can you move and stop it? Or that's the police duty? It can hurt you, man up through the pain. As for your second question, I have already answered it. Thank you for watching the video. If you're new, please be sure to subscribe, like and turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. Post your own stories in the comments down below.